From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, March the 31st, 2020. Israel announced stricter regulations in the face of the coronavirus and the number of cases growing in the country. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced the new measures last night, which include allowing gatherings of no more than 2 people who are not from the same family unit. Netanyahu said this is the year of the lockdown Seder, and that Easter and Ramadan in the country as well should be observed the same way. The Prime Minister, by the way, tested negative for COVID-19, but will remain in isolation for now as a precaution. This after his advisor and her husband both tested positive. And the Prime Minister's office said that Israel's Defense Biological Research Institute has made significant progress towards a vaccine against COVID-19 and will soon start testing that vaccine on animals. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo shared his sadness over the passing of Monsey attack victim Joseph Newman. As we reported to you yesterday, the 72-year-old who had been severely injured in the attack this past Hanukkah and had been in a coma since, died of his injuries on Sunday. The governor wrote that New York was heartbroken over the loss. Cuomo said, "This hate-motivated attack shook us to our core. Any attack on one of us is an attack on all of us." Cuomo tweeted, "After the hate-fueled attack in Monsey, I vowed to enact a law that calls this violence and hate what it is, domestic terrorism, and punishes perpetrators accordingly." Cuomo said, "I will rename this bill in honor of Joseph and call on the legislature to pass it. We owe it to him to get it done." New York City Mayor Bill DeBlasio said that while most synagogues have closed and have been compliant with efforts to curb the spread of the coronavirus in the city, there were still those houses of worship not following the rules. The Jerusalem Post, citing the Jewish press, said DeBlasio told a press conference on Friday that a small number of religious communities, specific churches, and specific synagogues are unfortunately not paying attention to this guidance, even though it's so widespread, and are continuing to hold services and gatherings. De Blasio said if that continues, enforcement agents will have no choice but to shut down those services. Israel's Air Force did hold a joint drill this week with its American counterparts. Enduring Lightning was completed yesterday. The IDF tweeted over Israel's skies. Both the Israeli and American Air Force operated in full accordance with COVID-19 restrictions, adding that even at a distance, the U.S.-Israel partnership remains as close as ever. El Al is set to break a record for their longest direct flight, a rescue of Israelis stranded in Australia because of COVID-19. The flight from Melbourne to Tel Aviv will come in at 17 hours, 40 minutes, which is 40 minutes longer than their recent 17-hour rescue flight from Peru last week. And Jewish businesses continue to do what they can in the face of COVID-19. Este Lauder is donating 2 million surgical masks for those on the front lines in New York, as well as 10,000 bottles of hand sanitizer to New York State every week in the weeks to come. UJA Federation of New York announced an additional $11 million to help those most affected by COVID-19. The grants and loans will help single parents, low-income college students, and families in need, as well as 22 regional Jewish community centers. UJA CEO Eric Goldstein said 10 days ago we allocated over $23 million in our first wave of emergency funding for essential food programs and to help provide our network of human service agencies with cash flow to operate. He said today's second wave of funding will help sustain our vital Jewish community centers that provide physical, emotional, and spiritual benefits to thousands of New Yorkers. Well, the desire to help the medical staff in one woman's community has grown far beyond. Best-selling Israeli-American author Ayelet Waldman, based in California, ordered takeout dinners and brought them to the doctors at her local emergency room last week, causing one staff member there to burst into tears of gratitude. Waldman decided this was something she could keep doing, and quickly others joined in with their time and money, forming Feed ER. Waldman told JBS this project began with one woman dropping off 25 dinners at one hospital ER. We have ramped up to 260 meals a day, every day, to 5 different hospitals. Now that we have all learned that absent protective equipment, frontline medical staff are exposed at significantly higher levels than the rest of us, it's critically important to show our gratitude. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, March the 31st at 7 o'clock, transgender author Yiska Smith talks about her life's journey. At 8, a discussion from the recent AIPAC National Policy Conference of how to respond to intersectional attacks against Zionism and the State of Israel by progressive groups. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with former IDF soldiers on L'chaim. At 10, we hear from the brother of slain IDF soldier Hadar Golden, whose remains are being held by Hamas in Gaza. And coming up right after this newscast, Mark Golub brings you a new episode of Together During COVID-19. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, March the 31st, 2020. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.